Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major update today with one of the hosts on The View, Joy Behar. She is now facing calls to either get fired by ABC News, to either step down and resign herself, or to actually face a lawsuit. Remember, George Stephanopoulos and ABC News just recently settled a lawsuit for $15 million, plus $1 million in legal fees going to Donald Trump's team after what he said about Trump and E. Jean Carroll, the E. Jean Carroll case, falsely saying that, falsely pushing this narrative about Trump, which definitely influences the people because it's, primetime TV. But now Joy Behar, after what she just said, she's facing similar calls, similar cancellation calls. So we're gonna dive into this. Before we do, make sure to thumbs up the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, click that notification bell as well. That really helps us push our content out to a wider audience and get the truth out there. And comment your thoughts down below. All right, let's dive in. So Joy just said, Harris would have won if we could regulate social media. Take a look at this.
We could regulate social media because one of the biggest offenders is DC and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations of social media.
Any better with Elon Musk in the administration. I want.
Yeah, let's regulate social media. Silence for thee, but not for me. Or what about this?
About regulations for a second, because it seems to me that the Republicans are obsessed with this notion of the free market, and they don't like a lot of regulations.
Because it means profit. When you deregulate, you get profit.
But I know.
Part of the deregulation,
for example, there were very few plane crashes. Thank God. And that's because the industry is highly regulated. We have to pay for regulations and safety standards. Otherwise, where are we? We're all going to go up in flames.
Norfolk Southern gives as much to Democrats as Republicans. It's a very powerful lobby that is trying to block regulation. And this train, to Sarah's point, 2 miles long with 2 full-time employees and a trainee on it.
And they didn't even wipe out the entire, because the last administration rolled it down to only one worker. They happened to have 2.
One thing I just want to say is I do think this was an unforced error by President Biden. It was 20 days before we had Secretary Buttigieg go down, 10 days before he put out a statement acknowledging it. Yeah. This is Trump country. He won by 40 points. He is a president for all Americans. I believe that, but he needs to show that he is. It was time for him to be.
I don't know why they would ever vote for him, for somebody who, by the way, he placed someone with deep ties to the chemical industry in charge of the EPA's Chemical Safety Office. That's who you voted for in that district. Donald Trump, who reduces all safety. He did.
Just like showed up at McDonald's and those voters saw something on the ground that probably resonates in a way that they need.
But they need to look past the photo ops, these people, and say, who's doing the job here? Forget about the photo op.
Showing up is a big
showing up. I think
this is Donald Trump's fault.
Wow. So they're saying that this is 1,000 times worse than anything Don Lemon ever said. Will she be kicked off her show and forced to undergo sensitivity training? I mean, just absolutely crazy. Even remember when Tulsi Gabbard destroyed Joy Behar.
I want to start with something that I think is also important about facts, because recently on your show here...
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Helping you out. Some of you have accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that. I guess we're getting a little bit far ahead of ourselves, but Franklin Graham finds you refreshing. He doesn't find me refreshing. Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, says he could vote for you.
Joy, this is why
you're on Tucker Carlson at least 10 times. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show?
This is why I'm here, because you and other people continue to spread these innuendos that have nothing to do with who I am.
You called her the queen of warmongers.
You doubled down, unfortunately, on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier.
We actually have the clip of Hillary Clinton, just to put this in context of what we're talking about. Let's take a look at that.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's a favorite of the Russians. That's
a favorite of the Russians is crazy.
Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
So really, I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous and offensive on so many levels. It's offensive to me as a soldier, as an American, as a member of Congress, as a veteran, and frankly, as a woman, to be so demeaned in
You
such
called
a way.
her the personification of rock.
So demeaned
She's a woman
in such
too.
a way. Well, I'm pointing to the fact that she has continued this legacy of being the world's police around the world, that has waged wars costing the lives of thousands of my brothers and sisters in uniform. And
What's your evidence to that?
To change.
Well, can I?
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
I served in the war
Not
in
you,
Iraq.
her. You're saying that she's...
Exactly.
Joy Behar needs to go. I'm glad that Tulsi Gabbard actually called her out to her face.
I served
How do
in
you
the
come
war
up with
in
that?
Iraq that she championed. She championed a regime change war in Libya.
Did you not believe in that war?
I believe the lies that were told to us.
Well, so did she.
So it is indisputable to say anything other than the fact that let me just close this out, that Hillary Clinton throughout her career has led with a foreign policy of interventionism and being the world's police, going and toppling dictators in other countries that has caused such destruction and loss of life. I'm against that.
If something was so catastrophic that we did have to draft people, why shouldn't women go? But why bring it up in an election year are my two questions.
Well, first of all, we shouldn't have a draft.
At all?
No, I don't think so.
What if it's an emergency?
Well, the fact that they're bringing this up now, to me, points to the fact that the only reason we would need a draft is because our warmongering politicians are starting wars that they know the American people aren't going to support. When you look at what happened after
Well, they
the
didn't
attack
start the wars.
Well, when you
They
look at what
didn't-
happened, you look at what happened after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Thousands and thousands of people from all across the country set aside their lives and volunteered because they wanted to go and fight for freedom and security and for peace. And you look at what happened after the attack on 9/11, so many Americans like myself, we enlisted to be able to ensure the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. To me, it's a big red flag that they're bringing this up right now, first of all, as we have multiple wars burgeoning around the world.
Yep.
But as a I've been deployed 3 times to different war zones. I don't want to be in a foxhole next to somebody who doesn't want to be there.
That's a great point. Why would you want to go and fight next to some dude who's just turned 18, who he'd rather be at home playing video games? So, anyways, major update today about Joy Behar. The truth coming out about her and calls for her to step down. So let me know your thoughts down below. Take care, God bless, and Merry Christmas.